Okay, on my last post, we was talking about single stemming so that their plants don't get unruly and disease control. So uh, I just stopped by my sister-in-law, my brother's garden, uh, and because this is a real good example uh, of not unruly and not diseased. Um, as you can see right here's one plant comes up. That two suckers right out the ground, or one sucker coming right out the ground is low. Here's the second one starting right out the ground, coming up. It's already got blooms. Already got blooms on it. Um, you got tomatoes there and up there. You also got tomatoes over there. Up all these other leads, you got more tomatoes. If this was single stem, all these other tomatoes wouldn't exist yet. Um, so I mean, this is literally starting at the ground. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a 8 lead. I got another little one coming up down here. See how you can see all the way through it? You don't need the leaves. The leaves is what uh, promotes disease and unruliness. Um, by removing the bottom leaves off of all these other ones here, it lets sunlight come in. Now that sucker right there is going to grow up. See that? See that little sucker right there? That's going to make another. That's going to make another plant. Right here's another sucker. See how not unruly it is? Just standing up here. I mean, I'm sitting right here. I can see this row, the next row, the row behind it. I can see the peppers behind that. Uh, it's not unruly. Uh, the plant right next to it has more leaves on it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's already a 7 stem, 8 stem. Uh, tomatoes there, tomatoes there, tomatoes over there, tomatoes up there. Every stem is going to have tomatoes on it. There's likely as many tomatoes on this plant right now uh, that most people are going to get off of their single stem plant the whole season. This is 8 plants. Um, there's they're everywhere. Unruly. There's nothing unruly when you can see through rows of them. You can just see through rows of them. So, unruly has nothing to do with suckers. It has to do with leaves. It's about choices about how many leaves you take off. You don't eat the leaves; they make sugar. There is plenty of leaves on this plant to make sugar. Um, you don't. They got to go. You got to have airflow through it. You can see through it. You can see through rows of it. 8 plants on one root. There's more tomatoes right there on that with that single plant right now than than what most people are going to get. Uh, and then here's the best part about having multi stems. So this one right here grows up. It goes up to the top. It's probably going to go a foot higher. He's probably going to put the top caps on these posts and run another string, and so it'll get 4 foot tall, 5 foot tall, easy to work. And when this one right here, when those tomatoes leave and these tomatoes leave, then what's the purpose of anything down here? This leaf right here, I mean, it can go. It can go anytime. Anytime. Pick it off. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that the next sucker, see that sucker right there? It's going to continue. When this vine right here is done what it's needed to do, and if you need room for this one coming up behind it, you clip off the whole vine. It's irrelevant. Now you have more space for more production. You don't have to wait for that other plant to mature. It's ready to go. Just keeps going up. Gets cut off. When that vine has ended production, if keep the lower suckers on it, cut the vine out of the way. Let the new one come up. And it turns into the new top vine. And then it produces. This is unruly. Unruly is a choice. It has nothing to do with suckers, secondaries. It has to do with unruly has to do with leaves. Look at all them tomatoes in there. Look at that new little sucker coming out of there. You still got a long ways to go to get up here to the top. All those tomatoes are going to grow on that sucker. That's the next. That's the next lead. Right now, this right here is, like I said, I think I said it was an 8. It looks like about an 8, not counting the little ones. Uh, I mean, by the time this thing is done, there's going to be, by the time you clip some off, let the new suckers grow, we still got a lot of season left. This plant is going to end up being 16 plants, 16 leads, 16. All the work is done. It's planted. It's weeded. It's all the work is done. Let the plant do what it's supposed to do. Stop cutting off the suckers. Cut off the leaves. Won't have unruly. Won't have disease. This is my brother's farm. My sister-in-law, she does most of this work. She worked a long time yesterday. Uh, if you wanna follow them, they got a channel. It's Lily Homestead. Lily Homestead. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to put a link to it. Um, they they do all kinds of things and get into all kinds of things. Look at the tomatoes on that. You think you'd have that with a single stem? One over there. This is rows and rows. That's 4 100-foot long rows of tomatoes. There's no unruly here. Every one of these plants, every one of these are multi-stem. That one right there probably has 10 on it already. Look at the tomatoes on that thing. Nothing unruly here. Get rid of those leaves. Leave the suckers. Have a harvest.